Hi, I'm Gio. I'm scouting the frontier of AI art and UX design for actionable nuggets that you can apply to your creative life. Today I am vlogging my learning session with Stable Diffusion, so let's jump right in. So I'm just going to be talking out loud here, thinking out loud, as they say in the UX world, to describe what I'm thinking as I'm navigating through these different menus and things. You can see if you are new to Stable Diffusion, there are many tabs along the top here. The two most important ones I've found to be so far are text to image, where you simply write your text prompt, as well as the negative prompt to say what you don't want. And from there, you can be generating like this. And you can see we've already got a really nice high quality image here going because the models that I'm using are shown here. In fact, I took the dreamlike diffusion model, which is very popular for the beautiful, ethereal kind of vibe that it gives the images. It's been trained on a lot of really cool art, as well as the comic diffusion model, which specializes in characters that are very static, and they look good when they're kind of standing on their own, but when you want to do a more complex pose, the comic diffusion, in my experience, like people are kind of just standing like this, they're kind of like ready to do something, but they're not really doing anything. And when you breed the model together with the dreamlike diffusion, you get much more dynamic results. So let's see if we can say martial arts pose and see what comes up. So we're still getting some portraits here so far. Therefore, let's merge the first two prompts into one. A fighting martial arts pose for something dynamic. Let's see if we can get it to work. Still on the character concept art piece, so maybe we remove that. Character action pose. And let's say a bald woman, Buddhist hacker. Generate. Okay, here we go. So you're starting to see at least a little bit more dynamism in the pose here. There are definitely more nuances we could add, like say tan dark skin. I have a character in mind that is from my work in progress graphic novel, and so I'm trying to use that as a goal or an experiment as a specific target to see how close I can get this project to align with the characteristics of this kind of mentor teacher that I have in my story who's a prominent character. So that's kind of a hobby project when I'm not doing full-time UX design as my day job. And so these are cool, right? Like you can see there's at least some movement. And if I wanted to take this, I can just go copy image. This AI is great for creating starting points, right? Rapidly generating iterative starting points. And it's hard to get consistent characters at this point in the development of AI, but for those who have some passing familiarity with other tools like Photoshop, so what I'm doing right now is I have two computers running. One is my heavy graphics card Windows PC, but I prefer working on a Mac for the various creative suites that are available there. So instead what I'm going to do is say save image. I'll just save to desktop, and then I'm gonna go up here to my little crossover drive and drop that in there. Okay, so that's uploaded. Now I'm just gonna go back to my Mac interface, and I'll grab that. Download. Okay, so I'm building the mental and physical reflex of dropping my images into the crossover so that I can quickly access my PC, graphics power, and my Mac. The point I was trying to make is that once you have the kind of raw initial sketch, as it were, from the Stable Diffusion output, I'm going to go crop, and now I can do things like if I hit Command-Shift-X, that pulls up the liquify interface here. Very, very cool tool. If you haven't seen it before, I'm pressing left and right brackets to increase the size of my brush. And right now I've got the forward warp tool selected. And that way I can take things like grab this elbow and kind of just say like, I kind of want a little bit more of a relaxed pose, or this arm anatomy is kind of wrong, so I'm going to bring in the fist a little bit more like that, give it more realistic proportions, which is a good example of why AI art tools can get you a long way, but you need to know the fundamentals of any discipline, whether that's UX design, whether that's traditional fine art, traditional painting, figurative anatomy for concept art, if you're in the entertainment industry and so forth. Those are skills that are amplified by AI rather than something that will replace us. I am a stoked optimist, hoping that AI actually gives creatives more opportunities and makes their handcrafted work more valuable. And I know that that is a raging debate right now, and there will be future discussion on that. But for the moment, simply trying to give the gist of how you can start using some of these concepts and then make more dramatic changes as needed, or repaint something if it's just not working. I've got an upcoming video that I want to make about using inpainting, since that's something that I haven't done a whole lot yet and I'm interested to experiment with. So not to get too committed to any one thing, you can see here that was just the point is, before kind of wonky, a little bit janky looking. Not to say this is a masterpiece now, but it's a little bit more believable. It's a little bit better. Moving back to my Windows PC. Switch over to my Stable Diffusion, which is running locally in my Chrome browser tab here. So we've got the text to image prompts. We're still able to just generate, look how fast these blazing couple of graphics cards here are really doing the work. So we've got some cool kind of Shaolin Buddhist monk poses. I kind of want to make her more of a sci-fi hacker though. This is intended to be like more contemporary, near future. So that's kind of cool, right? And whenever I see a result I like, all of these results are actually being, if I click this folder right here, it opens my output folder that's local to my machine. And so you can kind of see there's this big backlog of experiments. Like every time you click generate, it adds a new image here. So you always have everything stored and locally recorded, which is pretty nice. And so any results that I like, I can kind of just jump in, review, and it even has the prompt kind of appended into the file here, at least up to a certain point, so that can kind of be a memory jogger if you're like, oh, how did I get that result the other day? Okay, so that's text to image, where we've used our text prompt and maybe a negative prompt to produce an image that we like. Let's flip over to image. Right now we're in outputs for image to image, but I want outputs for text to image. Now, I can use the image to image to generate something pretty similar, but slightly different. Let's say I now want to take as much of the vibe, that's the best way to describe it really, the vibe of the image, since it's not going to be perfectly the same from, all the clothing and details and the lighting might be slightly different, but it's got the same kind of feel. We've got similar backgrounds, we've got similar rim lighting, we've got similar garb, and, facial structure, eyebrows, things like that. Now, using the image to image as an influence, let's add new prompts, such as maybe I want it from a different angle. Let's say I want my character to have, instead of a character concept art feel, it's a 3/4 portrait. Let's see if I can get her to have a different face direction. So we got a little bit. You can see it's not perfectly symmetrical and not looking head on anymore. Let's see if we get some better results. Still kind of fading back and forth between them though. So let's say something more dramatic. Let's try a side profile portrait. Still having a hard time with that one apparently. Okay, so what we're learning together in this session is that the base image showing a woman looking straight at the camera influences the output so much in image to image, it's really hard to get it to give different angles reliably. So I'm going to go back to text to image. We've got the concept art. I'm going to replace that with 3/4 side portrait. And you can see right away we're immediately getting better results as to the angle and the direction that she's looking. Some of them are a little bit more side profile. Yeah, still getting some decent results here. That's pretty good for today's session. I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Tune in for more as I continue to learn and we learn together. Cheers.